11 or tweet at us at MX24GH. The hashtag is the AM Club. Now, joining us for this conversation, like Edma said, is a very special guest. I have in studio Nai Wulomo, Numo Akwa, the 11th? The third, Chief Priest of the Ga State.
Yeah.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It feels awkward for me to be speaking English with you in this setting, but we'll try, because I want to enjoy having a Ga conversation with you. But
I don't think it's a problem, because once you're a Ga, you can't change your identity.
Absolutely.
We are just copying to improve somebody's language, to improve somebody's culture, but that is wrong. But the system now has changed, and then we have to go by that. But that is not the right way. We should speak Ga.
It's true.
So that people will know that we are true Gans. Anyway, that is your if I should say, your constitution here.
Yeah.
Your administrative setup is
to speak
English, but not to speak
for the sake of the wider
yes.
Market. Anyway, so Nai, please, let me ask you first of all, before we came on, I was telling you that this is going to be a learning thing for me, because there are a lot about the Ga tradition I don't think I'm aware of. So we'll start off, of course, with our history and how it started. I'm 75% Ga. Mom is fully Ga. Dad is half Ga, half Ewe. So I say I'm more Ga than I am Ewe.
Yeah.
So I've heard different stories about where the Gans migrated from. As Edma was reading, she said, somewhere in Niger, some say Ile-Ife in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So where did we migrate from? Why did we even migrate in the first place and settle where we are in Ghana?
Well, the Gans, there has been a lot of history, a lot of statements made as to where we migrated from. Some say Niger, as the lady just said, some say, but you can't just migrate from somewhere without not having your own roots. Now, we the Gans, originally we are Levites, we are descendants of Aaron, we are Jews. Because we have the main roots from the Jews land of Israel. And then we are the descendant of the third wife of Abraham.
This is interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Abraham got married to three wives. That is Sarah, Hagar, and then Keturah.
Keturah, yeah.
And then we are the descendants of Keturah. So we came down to Egypt, down to Ethiopia, Sudan, part of Niger, got to Ile-Ife, where we had a longer stay, over 800 years in Ile-Ife, where we've recently been to try to reconnect that migration spirit between the Gans and then the Yoruba people of Nigeria. And then from there, we moved part took the lead. And then we all came to settle here, passed through Benin, and then had the larger number of the Ga people in Togo, Aneho, which they have the names, the tradition, the culture, the dressings, everything just like the Gans, which have the larger part of Togo, has majority of the Gans.
Wow, more than we have in Ghana?
Oh, we have the Ga here. But looking at where we migrated from, where we made our stopovers, looking at the number of people who we left behind, the number in Togo is more than the rest.
Okay.
So that is why we said Anaho is almost a home to the Ga people. So moving from there, and then we finally settled here. So you see, it's not just we moved one from where we originated from and then to settle there, but we made stopovers. And that helps us to. So it even made us have little of cultural adaptations along the way. So you can see that there are certain traditional activities which has been done in some areas which is similar to the Gans. For instance, when you go to Israel, for instance, the Jewish language, they have something a name we call Amon. Amon is a Ga name.
Amon.
Yes. They have the word we call Ima. Ima is my mom.
My mom.
The same meaning, the same pronunciation.
Interesting.
Jewish language, yes.
Wow.
When you go there, they have the practice they call the flower offering. We have named ours Homowo.
Homowo. Yeah.
You see? And then all these things are the similarities and the same practice. So this tells us that We originally originated from there. All other places that they talk of migration is just a process, a stopover before we got here.
That's such a rich history, I must
Yes.
say. Being a Jew is no joke. But
Yes.
now when you look at the Gans, there are two main, should I say, factions? No, not factions, but two main parts. You have the Gan and you have the Gan Adangbe.
Yes.
Is it just the language that separates these two, or there are more things that separate the Gan Adangbe from the Gan?
Well, for now, from my own view, I see there is no separation.
Okay.
Because when we put together, we have the Gadangbe. And then we have so many things in common, almost everything. Just that you see the slight change in the language. But anytime a Dangbe man is speaking, the Gan man has a 90% of understanding what he's saying. Likewise, the Dangbe man does the same to the Gan language. So I see no difference. We are all the same. Just that you could see that where they settled, they have also adopted few traditional and then cultural activities, which is similar or not similar to that of the Gans. But we all have the same blood running through us.
Yes. Right. Are we predominantly fishermen because of where we settled, or is something we came with?
Yes, I could say where we settled and then where we made a route through before getting here. It's what made us. And then you see, we have farmers. We have craftsmen. We have a lot of people who people not even have the idea this is part of the Gan occupational activity that it's only for the Gans. Now, when you look across board, you realize that there are certain crafts which can be found here in only the Gan land. And then if someone else is doing it, then the person adapted it from us. Fishing goes on in the forest areas where they have the lagoons, the big rivers that they do fishing. Just that the type of fish they catch is different from what we have here. But the majority occupation of the Gan people is just fishing and farming.
Okay.
Aside that, there are petty crafts which also goes on.
Okay, I'm just asking frequently asked questions. And one would also include, does Gan mean something? The word Gan, does it mean something? Would you?
Yes, the Gan, you see, as the descendants of Keturah are people we call the Gad people.
Gad.
Yes.
Right.
And then it is just, let me say, we've just changed it a bit.
The word is coined
to the Gan. Yes. But the Gans itself, the word Gan, and then we are the Pele people, the Pele worshippers.
What does that mean? Pele.
Pele means, it literally means the type of worship that the Gan people practice.
Okay.
It's called Pele. And Pele is just a short form of Opeleje Nyombo.
Opeleje
God is all that there is.
Opeleje.
The omnipotent God. Everything is God.
Everything is God. Now that you've brought that up, worship up, and knowing that we descended from the lineage of Keturah, comparing the Gan religious worship, is there a similarity to the Christian worship? Are Gans Christian? I don't know if you get what I'm asking.
Yes, I've gotten it, but Christianity is not a religion in the first place.
Okay.
So we can't say we are Christians.
Okay.
But we are all children of God. We all acknowledge God as He is. And then we do worship God by our own means, our tradition. You find similarities in what we do and that of the Jewish. And if you want to see more of what we do, it's found from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Kings. They are there. Our festivals are there. Our naming ceremonies are there. Our marriage is there. Our day-to-day activities, the way we worship, the way we go about our own day-to-day activities, most of them is found there. So we are not Christians. Christianity is just a way of life. It's a way of life. It's not a religion.
Okay,
because
so
our existence, we've been in existence before the introduction of Christianity.
Of Christ.
Of Christ, who is the founder of Christianity.
Okay.
You see? So,
okay. Christ says he's a descendant of Abraham as well.
Yes.
So, okay. So I get the Gans don't trace their descent to that. They just take it from Abraham directly. So more of the Old Testament. Okay. Now, let's talk about our dances, the Ghana traditional dance. But before that, could you tell us where the Gans are? You were telling me about from Tema to...
Yes, when we call the Gadangme.
Okay.
The Gans stretches all the way from Langba.
Langba. Where's
to
that?
Tema. Langba is it's a traditional boundary.
Oh, right.
Which is closer to the central region.
Okay.
Traditionally, when we say Ghana, it's from Obutu, which now they call Ewutu, Futu area.
Oh.
Yes, it's from Obutu to Langma. So that is the traditional boundaries.
Okay.
But the Dangbes starts after Tema.
Okay.
And then the Gans is from Tema down. So you see that these two main settlers forms the Gadangme. And then we have similarities in everything.
Now, speaking of similarity, let's talk about our dances. I know about Palogo. Are there others that we don't know, or the ones that
yes, there are Palogo, we have Gome, we have Otofo, we have the Gans, we have Ganadoa is there.
There's Ganadoa?
Yes, that is different from the Akans Adoa. The beats, the movements, the songs are different. But it is Adoa for the Gans.
Speaking of which, I realize that there are some Gan words that are also in Twi. How did that happen?
They are the adapted words because, as we all know, the Gans, we got to learn something about chieftaincy when we finally settled here.
Okay.
And then we realized that the Akwamus, who we stayed with for so long, they had their traditional and then cultural activities, mainly the chieftaincy practices. And then because we affiliated with them, we merged with them, we copied their bits. So you see that all the chieftaincy titles and then the Asafo songs, majority of them are from the Twi language. That is the Akwamu Twi. You understand? Yes.
Okay.
But we, the Gans, always, yes, the Pele songs, which you see the priestesses sometimes they sing. And then when you look at it from the other side of tradition, the Asafo song has more of the Twi words in it than that of the Pele song.
Right.
The Pele song has lots of Gans. And then the Gans, when you're listening to that song, you feel that the Gan is twisted. But that is the original Pele language.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Now let's talk about the Gan outfits, traditional outfits. I'm wearing this white cloth, which I see you also wearing, and then you have something under, and then you have what you're wearing. Could you? But you know what? I think I'll save this conversation for our Fashion Wednesday segment. I think Edmund will be having that conversation. So we're talking about dance. Let's talk about the food we eat and our festivals. Should we start with the food or the festival? The festival, Homowo. I mean, we know a little bit of the history of Homowo. Homowo means no hunger.
Hooting at hunger.
Hooting at hunger, rather, I should say. Could you educate us a little bit about Homowo, just a little bit about Homowo, and why we celebrate it?
Yes, Homowo Hooting at hunger is just a limited meaning for the whole festival. But there's more meaning to it than hooting at hunger, because we were practicing it before we finally got here. And then during the period of our migration, that is where we experienced the great famine and then increased the practice of Homowo. And then that adapted them, because we are hooting at hunger. We've been in famine for so long. But through our prayers and then other disciplines which were practiced at that time, we were able to have abundant rain and food. So we have to hoot at hunger. At long last, taking food from us, you have given us back our food. So we have to hoot at hunger for a work done zero, because the hunger didn't take us all, but we were able to take it out and then live happily again. Now, Homowo, I want to look at from the biblical point of view. You realize that there is a feast which we call Passover, which they use the fresh corn, fresh corn dough, which is not unfermented corn dough. And then they use a white oil and then a sweetener. But we use red oil, which has a meaning for us using. But before, you realize that when they get to the traditional homes of the Ghana people, even though they come out with the red oil quickly for everybody to see, there is a white quickly in the house, which is used for the for a sacred activities. Now, Homowo simply means, as we've all called it, simply means we are hooting at anger. Fine. How did it happen? Now, Homowo, it's a name given to a whole activity. That is the festival itself. We have ban on drumming in Homowo. We have the pacification of the sea in Homowo. We have the going for the fish for Homowo. That is catching the fish, which we call chile. It's also part of it. We have the Odada in the Homowo. We have all these things before the day that we sprinkle the people. So it's not that Saturday. We have the Twin Festival, part of Homowo. Yeah. It's part of Homowo. So it's not just like the day that we sprinkle the people.
And then that's it. Okay.
Yes. There are a whole lot of activities which precede that day, which are more sacred. For instance, the ban on drumming and then noise making. It's not just we are banning people not to make noise or not to drum, but it's a period that we all find it to be holy. Because that is when we sow our corn in a sacred farm for 31 days. Now, this time, there shouldn't be noise because the priests will be confined to prayers, fasting, and then asking God and our ancestors to bless us.
For abundance.
For abundant rain, abundant fish, abundant food.
Okay.
During this time, we pray for the whole community and then the entire country for peace, love, for development. And then we pray for all people, every single soul who is on the Ghana land. That is every tenant on the Ghana, we pray for them. Because when you have a tenant in your home who doesn't live well, you are also at peace.
Indeed. Indeed. Let me, for the sake of time, let me also now come to you and ask you who the chief priest of the Ghana state is and what your role is in the advancement of the Ghana culture and tradition as well.
All right. Basically, the priests are the custodians of the Ghana tradition and culture.
Beautiful.
They are also if we should take it to the Christendom, they say they are the reverend ministers, they are the bishops, the popes. You understand? We see to the spiritual warfare of the Ghana people to make sure that everything from the spirit and into the spirit is done properly. And also we try to make sure that the tradition the application of the Ghana tradition and culture is done accurately.
Right. I'm tempted to ask what that entails, but I guess we'll leave that as a priest work, so we can't go deep into it. But I also want to ask you how you think, because culture is evolving, and how you think that over the years, the Ghana culture has been affected by modernity, by urbanization. Do you think perhaps there's been a change, a shift in our culture as Ghana people? Has modernization affected us in any way? If so, what are these things, and how do they impact the tradition?
Yes, this is one of the areas that I have grieved over for a long time, because urbanization has become one of the key factors that has changed and then shifted the Ghana tradition and culture in so many ways. One, for instance, we have everything at our disposal. But sometimes, cosmopolitan is even taking away most of our culture. Looking at it from a political point of view, looking at it from a democratic point of view, looking at it from institutions, a whole lot. And then the capital aspect of it, or making here the capital for the whole country, has become a home for everybody.
Everybody.
That is an assumption. It's not a home for everybody. It's a home for the young people. You understand? It's not a home for everybody. Every other person who is here, who is not a guy, is a tenant. So you can't say, even it is your home, but you are not a lodger.
But we want to believe that. Sorry to cut you. I want to believe, we understand. Well, this is not factual, but we understand that now most of the Ga lands, or the main Ga areas, belong to foreigners. They bought lands and they own most of the lands, more than the Gans actually. So how would you call these people tenants when most of the indigents don't own the land?
That is your point of view. There are a whole lot of indigents who owns lands. Where do they buy those lands from? And I don't think they are actual, or it's not a total sale of land. It's a leasehold agreement that is given to them. All the indentures, all the documents that is covering all lands owned by the migrants or other people, it is a leasehold agreement.
Okay.
And I don't want to go there because they are experts to describe that.
Right.
But from my point of view, nobody owns land that belongs to him. Because whatever land you have here, you owe allegiance to somebody. Somebody gave it to you on a turn. But never, it's not a gift. There are few things which are gifts, which is given to institutions like, for instance, the security services, the other important institutions, which is more important to everybody. But aside that, individuals and other corporate bodies, it's just a leasehold agreement. It's not an actual sale.
Do you think that the young people who are Gans, including myself, are still connected, are still aware, do they fully understand, not fully, but to a very large extent understand the culture, the tradition of our people, or we are losing it because of, like what you said, cosmopolitan, different people living here, we also traveling and leaving our roots?
I would say yes. But you could realize that everything starts from somewhere. If there is a home that is there to groom the children to know that aside everything, you were a Gan, you were a Dangme, let that be your priority. Starting from education, you realize that every person who is able to see his children through education would like their children to speak English at all times, which is wrong. Everyone who has traveled more would like their children to behave as foreigners. Everyone who has gotten deep into Christianity would deny the home as a Gan. So you see, all these things are facts, which is rather changing, which is rather taking the minds of the youth off. But you realize that, look at the people from, let's say, the people from Nigeria, people from other parts of Africa, called the West Africa, for instance. The youth always, even their dressing portrays who they are.
Yeah.
The food they eat portrays, but we, the Gans, have rather adapted what we don't know.
That's true.
We don't know the roots, we don't know the meaning, and yet still we are practicing it. It is up to us to come home. When we call for homecoming, it is rather the tourists and then the foreigners who rather comes to see what we have.
And
but the indigents are not coming.
That's true.
And what is preventing them?
Yeah, nice.
You see?
I think this time is too short for us to have this conversation, because there are other things I want to ask you. A few WhatsApp messages. Hi, good morning, Godwin. I'm Ahmed from Obuasi. I really love today's conversation about the history of the Ga people. I wanted to ask what's the meaning of the green leaves that are used as necklaces and all the white clothes. So Edma is standing by for that conversation. She'll tell you all about it with our next guest. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. This one says, hi, we learned in history that the present day Accra is for the Guans. So are Guan sisters to Ga? If not, why did they take over what does not belong to them? Justice from Second D. Oh, I wish we could answer this, but there's no time to... Hi, good morning. I'm Saitz Nene Sako. I'm happy this program is here to our high priest, Numo Akwa Mensa the third. May the gods protect you. We want more of this. Please, we want more of this to promote our culture and traditions like other tribes also do. Well said. Well said. So I think I'll let you answer the Guan question before you go.
It's a very broad question.
Yeah.
It will take a lot of time, which I know we'll need a specific time to even give a program on it, because there are a whole lot of contradictions.
Okay.
As to the Guans. And then if we should ask, who are the Guans?
Guans.
You understand? If we should ask, who are the Guans? If somebody is able to tell us, these people are the Guans, we'll be able to tell them, oh, yes, indeed, we've taken what doesn't belong to us.
We were told that they were the first settlers in Ghana. They were the original
Settlers
indigents
in Ghana.
in Ghana before any other tribe came.
In Gold Coast or in Ghana?
In Gold Coast.
Oh, before Gold Coast.
Before Gold Coast, apparently.
And then before Gold Coast, where was it then?
Well, that's interesting. Have...
Even though what he's saying is maybe right or maybe wrong, we came to meet few people who are the Akwemus. And then the Akwemus are now part of the Gans, because we had the two-blown session, which is a quarter of one of the quarters among the 7 quarters of the Gans.
This conversation I want to have with you again. We don't know when we're going to have this, but we'll probably put it together and have the conversation with you. But thank you so much. Nai Wulomo, Akwa Mensa.
Nai Wulomo.
Nai Wulomo.
Numu
Akwa Mensa the third. Why am I struggling with this word? The third, for your time. We appreciate it so much. Guys, you're watching the AM Club right here on MX24 TV. Up next is Fashion Wednesday, and you should see Edma and our next guest. You don't want to go anywhere.